their experience, their experience in management, their leadership quality, and also because a lot of them were already well known. So a lot of this, Islamic political parties, secular political parties, a lot of political parties, they quoted different senior officers, and so it's not surprising if you look at, the cabinet of Joko Widodo. Maybe because he's a civilian and feels the need to have some strong guys.
The reality is, by law, the military cannot be involved in politics. Soldiers are also barred from voting in elections. The same can't be said about some neighboring countries in this region. Thailand has had 12 successful coups since the 1932 revolution, which ended the absolute monarchy in the country. Today, the military plays a dominant role in politics. The 250-seat Upper House Senate is entirely appointed by the ruling junta. They also have the power to choose the next prime minister. In Myanmar, prior to the February 1st coup, 25% of the parliamentary seats were reserved for the military. They also had a veto power to block any amendments of the constitution. Today, the country is led exclusively by a military junta. If in Indonesia, the military has detached itself from politics, the reverse is true for countries like Thailand and Myanmar. But will the Indonesian military make a political comeback and establish control over the government again?
I cannot see the TNI attempting to do or engage in the same sort of activities as we've seen in Myanmar or Thailand, principally because I think the mindset of the TNI officer is changing. There is a desire to be more professional in their outlook. More importantly is the TNI's own vision of modernizing its military, making it relevant to Indonesia's needs in the current era. But more importantly, we live in a different age now. Social media is so prevalent in Indonesia with the use of Facebook and Twitter. A TNI soldier cannot engage in any human rights violation without it being captured on the YouTube or through any of these media. And of course, Indonesian civil society, Indonesian media have a tremendous role to play. So there are countervailing forces now in Indonesia that exist to prevent the possibility of a coup.
If you want to move this country forward, today much mature compared to before 1998. So I think the TNI understand that we should respect to democracy. That's the democracy that we love today, and we have to defend and protect our own democracy, not necessarily like other countries' democracy.
Since its founding in 1945, the army has always been seen as the guardian of the nation. But it then decided not to share power with the civilian authority during the leadership of former strongman Suharto, who then expanded the military's role in politics while putting officers in important positions in the government. His downfall, in the wake of deep economic crisis, had exposed huge flaws of the military-dominated government. The 32-year tenure was also marred by massive corruption and nepotism, prompting civilian politicians to never again subordinate themselves to military authority. But today, the military is regarded as a partner, which works hand in hand with the government in ensuring stability and prosperity in the country. Instead of dictatorial rule in the past era, freedom, civil liberty, and democracy are now seen as the only route to the future success of the world's most populous Muslim nation.
pandemic has generated significant logistical challenges, put a strain on the global food supply chain. On your next Asia First, we zoom in on South Korea's strawberry industry and find out how it is working to overcome the numerous hurdles.
Next on Japan Hour. Japan Hour, Saturday on CMA. Japan Hour is brought to you by Sumitomo Corporation and SNBC.
Five athletes at the top of their game, training hard for the pinnacle event of their sports. But COVID-19 had other ideas.
The news just in, the Tokyo Olympics are to be postponed.
I was a little bit annoyed because that really messed up a lot of plans.
Everyone was uncertain.
We were actually relieved. I was a little bit upset and frustrated.
The preparations for the Olympics and the Paralympics carried on.
Working a lot with my coach, fixing a few technical errors here and there.
Trainings and competitions are going on in Europe, waiting to get back to Portugal.
Well done. 5-4-5.
Oh,
Yay.
baby.
Well done.
Every time we take a break, we technically have to restart.
Gunning for the Olympics and the Paralympics. Watch Tokyo Dreams on demand at cna.asia.
This is Asia Now.
It's 5 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 2:30 in Delhi and 4 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Angela Lim. At this hour, Western Australia is bracing for tropical cyclone Saruja that's expected to make landfall this evening. Indonesia's East Java province hit by another earthquake, even as the region picks up pieces from yesterday's powerful tremor. Another record high number of new COVID-19 infections for India. A second wave threatens to overwhelm hospitals in parts of the country. People living on the coast of Western Australia are preparing themselves for Cyclone Saroja's expected landfall this evening. The cyclone is expected to strike around the seaside town of Denham, some 500 kilometers north of Perth. Residents have already been told to evacuate. Further down the coast, those living in Geraldton are also bracing for the storm. Emergency services are urging residents to protect themselves and their belongings.
Make those preparations, have your emergency kits, identify that safety zone in your house and get things ready and have that plan ready in place.
Sandbags have already been made available to those in Geraldton, with residents already getting a start on loading them into their cars. The state is predicting damage to power and water supplies, and authorities have also provided buses to evacuate residents. Saroja has been classified as a Category 2 storm, meaning it could bring destructive winds and flash floods. A red alert advising people find shelter immediately has been issued for a 500-kilometre stretch of the Western Australian coast.
Brought in all inside furniture, packed everything away, got rid of all debris, etc. Did go shopping on Friday just to make sure we got some supplies and things like that. So got some sandbags because our back garden does tend to flood a little bit. So really it's battening down and closing curtains and hope for the best.
Can I make it quite clear, this is not a Sunday picnic. This is real and it's going to get very, very dangerous later on this afternoon with high winds expected up to 165 kilometres an hour.
Indonesia's East Java province has been hit by
another earthquake after yesterday's powerful tremor. Antara News says the 5.5 magnitude quake struck Malang district this morning. This comes as the region is still feeling the effect of the powerful earthquake that struck off its coast. It killed at least 8 people, including a woman hit by falling rocks. It has also left around 40 people injured. The National Disaster Agency